because I had the great honour of being able to read at this event, thanks to Grant, and I think it's a great thing what Grant's done here, knowing that he had his stroke a year ago, and I think a lot of people would have given in then, but he's actually come back fighting. I think it's great that poets write poetry, and I think it's great that poets read their poetry out with others, and I think it's even greater that people come and listen to people reading poetry, so this is a great evening. I share Ben's nervousness about reading out in front of people. It might not seem it, but I do. And I'm going to read a poem, first of all, that actually originates in my years in London, because I lived in London for 10 years and studied here and worked here and stuff. And this has been a poem that I've carried around with me for the last 25 years, and it's gone through all sorts of variations, and it's lived in Plaistow and Stratford and Clapham North, and it's travelled to Germany and lived in Hamburg, and now it's come back to London. And it is a bit indulgent because it's quite long and it's kind of personal. It's probably not for public consumption, but I'm going to indulge myself and at your expense, so apologies in advance. Right, oh, actually my glasses.
That'd be key.
This is terrible, isn't it? You need your glasses. And I even printed the thing out bigger, but I noticed it doesn't help. So, Black Umbrella. A new page and old lines suggest something different, yet just the same. I emerge and head off, dazed and silent, just like the man in the black overcoat, pointing the black umbrella. Train wind flies and rests in the cracked, dirty pavement. Obscured by footprints, I sneak a glance at many feet passing. Fleeting moments, all separate, arms folded and worried legs crossed. I slow down. I fill the moments with pauses and full stops. I stop looking, and in this, I see what I can through the emptiness. I throw away the black umbrella and stop pointing and pick up the suitcase. She did nothing to understand me. My footsteps were never appreciated. She walked away, her suitcase crawling after her. Her hair was cold and unsettled. There was no music, only sounds of people, boredom. Because of the lies, we never meet. Stars keep falling and we stay blinking. Through all the settling and the burning and the dirty centuries, black umbrellas lying. What a foul stench. Killing and red and bloody, lost on the page, the death pen spits and farts. Show me poor weeping on the dirty pavements, black umbrella tears, abstract ramblings in ink, a selection of words, pointing out the silence and the centuries and the crossing of legs. Angry and silent crimes, give me the behindness and how it works. The centuries red and bloody, what a foul stench. The swords at war with another state make me aware. They show me the killing and the splintering of flesh. Spain falls and I weep. No help, just red and bloody. Torn bone conflict, a blood bond austerity. The irrational centuries lying and settling on dirty pavements. The horses burning, backstabbed oaths and the pointing black umbrellas all lined up. All just voices in the head. I put on my cap, pick up the suitcase, sit down and remember. But the puddles are too shallow. The reflections are there for just a moment, then vanish, like my youth. The rain lashes out a cruel song, and I stare into the blankness. Water drips. I pace my cross legs and grow nervous. My hands are stretched. They gather meaning, dig up buried voices in the head. Paper is thrown, red and bloody and unsettled. She uttered the shit I heard so often but never understood. We laughed once, I do not care, our legs uncrossed. I knew we went back to that one statue, getting it ready. Maybe she did care, I could be wrong. She looked out, and I could not help it, I saw her look. Her legs remained uncrossed. Her hair was blue. Now she's gone. I am left alone with the suitcase and the empty footsteps, paranoid and nervous, and lost on the empty page. The fractured puddles vanish. The paper blows angrily. Another rain-torn autumn. Chatter disturbs. And I cross my legs the wrong way. Awkward, and uncaring, wet and nervous. I'm heading off for the sun. I saw her leave, watching the hollow footsteps. Her legs were never crossed, and the blank page remains empty, and I am left on the seat with the orange and brown squares, holding the pen and getting nervous because she does not really understand me. Yeah, that's black. This one is about living in cities, because I like living in cities, largely for what Ben said as well about watching people, but just being around people, and it gives you things to think about what you are yourself and how life is, just simply by being with people, and it's called The Collector of Thirst. Today, I will not write a poem. Instead, I will look at people. I will watch their movements as they open books, some with feverish intent, the last handful of pages thumbed into submission as the tram hurtles to their destination. There's the lady in her 50s, her eyebrows drawn onto her brow, with a slightly unsteady hand, closed eyes flicker, telling my eyes she's thinking of something, but what? I will smell fumes of alcohol breath and acrid tobacco as a nose decorated with a network of broken blood vessels makes its way to a place, any place, on this journey, somewhere, anywhere. That same nose was once an unborn sense of the smell of this world, but now reeks of a trail of disappointment. There is the young child, eager to stand on this moving object, desperate to make its way through calves and knees, but tenderly pulled back by its mother's protective hand. I will see that hand grow, agitated, and hear the voice become strained as she attempts to alert the infant to the dangers of falling. I will see this for the rest of my life. Today, I will not write a poem. Instead, I will watch the world and its people go about their business as I lose myself in their movements, the unexpected nervous ticks on otherwise worry-free faces, thumbs and digits racing across the keypads of mobile phones, then a triumphant final thump of send, followed by an expectant smile. I will watch this, not as a metaphor for something it might be or isn't. I will take it as I do a glass of water when I am thirsty. Again, cities, I love them. I love all the dirt in them. I love all the grime in them. I love seeing single gloves on walls and glittery things in the gutter and all the stuff that gets forgotten. And this next poem is called The Collector of Lost Things. The collector of lost things found an apple half eaten beneath a tree in a garden, deserted and peaceful. He decided to collect 3 teeth from a brown comb, broken by hair from a head now absent, a mother-of-pearl button from a white shirt frayed at the cuffs and collar and lacking several other buttons. The collector of lost things wears time the way nature lives seasons. In spare moments, he makes wardrobes and drawers. Half a torn page of a diary, 2 words scribbled at the bottom, divided by the indent of a fingernail. Mustn't forget, the ink is red. The collector of lost things takes care of orphaned seconds, lost to distraction. He looks after discarded nouns and verbs. A plastic lighter bearing a scratched text. In Plato's cave, the one with light will be favoured. It doesn't work. The collector of lost things reads philosophy on the toilet. He makes broken pottery and gives lectures about loss in empty auditoriums. And he continues to collect. I think a lot of people have their favourite artists, and they end up, if they're writing poetry, often they end up writing a poem or more about an artist. And this is one of my artist poems. It's called Wanting Silence. It singes to go there. I see the sky and refuse the stars. My hat is caked in wax. It took years to fix depth, and now shadows rob my vision. It burns to see this cafe. I died with dirt beneath my fingernails. Now my name is a multi-millionaire. It could buy 1,000 of those half-empty, half-full bars, where I scratched the candles, embarrassed myself, and remembered. I went there to drink alone, took a table that wobbled, let the uneven surface echo my unbalanced retina shaking because of the stars and the wine, but most of all, because of the love. They hang me and write songs. They buy me and quote me and go, ah. They're still searching, like I was then, searching for a place to stop looking. How I longed for that, but was driven. I should have cut out my eyes, but I wanted silence so much that night. The other thing often people write about, not only artists and streets and anonymous people, are their close ones, and they can be, as Ben read his final poem out about your parents, about your father, it could be about your children. This is my dad poem, or one of my dad poems, Dads and Feelings. We walk to the station, trying to connect. Our words do not mingle, but rather miss each other, the way a slow watch fails to bring us to the train on time. You stop before reaching our destination, bending to rub a pain in your legs. Impatience creeps up on me as I wait, witnessing your decline. I freeze a little. You have a body breaking down. Eyes don't see what they used to, and your eardrums fracture sound, the way fading daylight rob leaves of their greenness. Our love, it's so much dust blowing in a rotting teeth boxing ring, where the real fight was cancelled long ago. We are spectators of a contest with no contestants. I don't know you. You look at me, and I throw back an intolerance I would not tolerate in another. My expectations hit your eyes like splinters. I want to know you. Love, for us, is a drought, longing for rain. I wish it were a trail of heartbeats, yours and mine entwined. We part. My fingers meet your arthritis. Your shrinking back turns, shuffling off with feelings unspoken and wishes unfulfilled. Dad, love for me is a texture I'm trying to weave a life from. It's an eye contact, wet with longing and dry for no good reason. From father to son, and so this is the son one, not me as the son, but my son as the son, called The Metaphysics of Ice Cream. My son asks me where the waves come from, the logic of wind and water well up in my mind. I ignore this. I tell him the waves are God, showing us endlessness. The surf reminds me of nothing, and this is good. There is no mediation of simile, no translation through metaphor. This is a direct nothing, like when I succeed in not thinking too little and not thinking too much, when waves of spirit wash onto the shores of my experience. Words in my thoughts and thoughts in my words disappear. If I were to compare surf and waves to anything, it would be to the state of not knowing if a dream is real or not, if reality is a dream or not. It's this condition of oscillation, this ebb and flow of knowing and not knowing, that tightens the knot and unties it. My son drops beneath the white froth. He didn't need an answer, but he enjoyed asking. It's good to ask questions and not need answers, to give answers and not need logic. He resurfaces, and we go for an ice cream. This is the metaphysics I am comfortable with. The thing about form, I think actually all the poems I heard today had form. It's talked about, do we have free verse and we take the form and build up as we go along, or do we challenge ourselves with existing forms? And I think both options are options, and both clearly produce great poems. I don't write much poems with a priori form, but I like now and again to take the challenge, and I came across this blues sonnet in this Louis Turco book. So this is my one poem here with some a priori form. It's called New Beginnings, blues sonnet. Within pulsating heart of molten red, within vibrating mind of frozen red, a fading joy fades amid smiles shed. Weary shivering tendrils of thoughts black, weary ravaged roots of emotion black, dampen the path in this tear trail shack. Absence of colour nurtures hungry grey, absence of light buries dry shoddy grey. Muddy waters lightens this desolate day. A purity polishes balanced white, a purity seeks truth in wild white. Infinite azure floats on sad respite. O sapphire sorrow challenge to cope, new beginnings in blue embrace lost hope. And to end this reading, I decided to read a poem that actually is simply my reflecting on what metaphor and simile is about, but I needed a theme, so I called the poem Sex with You. Sex with you is ice cream melting in the sun. It's sticky and sticks to fun. It isn't a metaphor for something it is or isn't. I thrust deeper into you. It's me, turned higher, wanting to fill you, fill deeper with desire. Sex with you is virgin dew, doing to grass blades what our tongues do to each other. Sex with you is warm sea enfolding skin like a tear, released and free. Sex with you is a bruise, a fuse about to blow, like a surge of water in a wild river's flow. Sex with you is like sex with you. Sex with you is sex with you. I don't want it to be like a simile. I don't need it to be a fucking metaphor. I just want it to be sex with you. Thank you very much.